I love trivia. Do you know what a piece of cake means? Well, here's some food-inspired expressions. Food-related idioms add flavor to our everyday conversations. But have you ever thought about their origins? From sweet compliments to cautionary advice, these phrases are often rooted in history and culture, from humble pie to spilled milk. Here are some food idioms and expressions with interesting backstories. Though, as with any etymology, you should take them all with a grain of salt. First up, piece of cake. Piece of cake means it's something easy to accomplish. There are two competing theories for the origin of this idiom. One suggests it traces back to the 19th century American South, where enslaved people participated in cakewalk competitions organized by slave owners. The best dancers would win a piece of cake, giving rise to the phrase. Another theory credits American poet Ogden Nash, who used the phrase in a 1936 poem. Her picture's in the papers now, and life's a piece of cake. Regardless of its exact origin, as with many etymologies, determining the truth behind this idiom is not exactly a piece of cake. Next up, spill the beans. Spill the beans means to reveal a secret. This idiom may have roots in ancient Greek voting customs. People often cast their votes using beans placed in a vase, white beans for approval and black beans for disapproval. If the vase were flipped over, it would literally spill the beans, revealing the votes prematurely. By the early 20th century, it was widely used in American English to mean uncovering something prematurely or accidentally. Interestingly, similar phrases exist in other languages. For instance, the German equivalent is Die Katze aus dem Sack lassen, meaning let the cat out of the bag. How about this one? Cool as a cucumber. That means to remain calm under pressure. Cucumbers are around 95% water, which gives them a naturally cool temperature, even in warm weather. This unique property was first noted in the 18th century when people began using the phrase cool as a cucumber to describe someone who remains calm and collected. The idiom became popular in both British and American English, reflecting the personal qualities of emotional control and composure. When I get off work, I become a couch potato. This means a person who leads a sedentary lifestyle. The term couch potato was first coined in 1976 by Robert Armstrong, an American cartoonist who wanted to poke fun at people who spent excessive time sitting on the couch watching television, comparing their inactivity to a potato, which also remains stationary and inactive. It would be worrying if any vegetable didn't, to be fair. The phrase caught on rapidly, resonating with the rise of television culture during the late 20th century. Armstrong, recognizing its popularity, trademarked couch potato in 1979 and began selling related merchandise, including t-shirts, posters, and even a book titled The Official Couch Potato Handbook. Here's something briefly mentioned at the top. Take it with a grain of salt. Means to view something skeptically. This idiom's origins date back to ancient Rome in 77 AD. Pliny the Elder wrote that a grain of salt could neutralize any poison. In an ironic twist, the phrase soon became a metaphor for skepticism, suggesting that any potentially dangerous or dubious information should be handled carefully and with suspicion. By the 1600s, the phrase had entered the English language and began to be widely used in literary circles. Some of these are starting to make me hungry. How about eat humble pie? To admit you're wrong and apologize. To eat humble pie comes from humble pie, a dish in medieval England made from the less desirable parts of a deer, such as its heart, liver, and lungs. These were typically eaten by lower class individuals, while upper class enjoyed the more premium cuts. By the 17th century, humble pie evolved into humble pie, linking the idea of humility with the act of apology. Though few people still eat humble pie today, the idiom remains commonly used to describe situations where someone must accept defeat. These are fun. How about butter someone up? To flatter someone for personal gain. This idiom originates from ancient India, where people would throw butter or clarified butter, ghee, Ghee, at statues of their gods as a way to seek favor or blessings. The act of buttering up a deity was believed to increase one's chances of receiving divine assistance. By the 1800s, the phrase was being used in British and American English to describe excessive flattery. Today, it carries a slightly negative connotation, suggesting that the flattery is insincere and intended to manipulate someone. Ooh, I never want to be associated with this one. Bite the hand that feeds you, to harm or betray someone who helps you. The imagery of this idiom is quite literal. A pet biting its owner, despite the care it receives. The expression has been traced back to writings from the early 1700s, where it was used to warn against ingratitude. In various forms, the phrase appears in other languages, like in French, where it is said, mordre la main qui te nourrit. It hints at a universal concept of loyalty and gratitude towards those who provide for you. I don't know about you, but I like milk, and I might cry over spilt milk. This means to be upset over something that cannot be undone. First recorded in 1659 by British historian James Howell, this idiom advises against grieving over irreversible events. Once milk is spilled, there's no way to recover it, making it pointless to dwell on. Over time, it evolved into a common piece of advice for dealing with mistakes or unfortunate events. Interestingly, the phrase appears in many cultures with slight variations. For example, in Spain, the equivalent expression is agua pasada no mueve molino, meaning water past the mill doesn't turn it. Both emphasize the futility of worrying about the past. And finally, for the working folks out there, bringing home the bacon means to earn a living or provide for a family. While etymologists are unsure of the exact origin of the phrase, many suggest that the expression dates back to medieval England, where bacon was a popular prize in some village competitions. However, the phrase gained more prominence in the 1900s when it was used to describe the responsibilities of the household breadwinner. Bringing home the bacon evolved to symbolize earning money to support one's family. Well, how about that? Did you know any of these? Did they make you hungry? I'm going to have to go out and bring home the bacon. Get back to work. How about those food-inspired expressions? This has been What Makes You Smarter. It's KeysDAN, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.